My name's Marinda Hall, and I've seen lots and lots of conferences. I do this a lot. I'm from Holland, but I'm also from England, and data, data, data. I hear lots and lots of data. It's from data from bicycles to huge freight from traveling from Rotterdam all the way down to south of Europe. It's about data on infrastructure. I hear lots of that about about maintenance on infrastructure. It's about parking. I hear a lot, but from big to small. I mean, we can talk about data for freight traffic, for infrastructure, but also it's about us living comfortably in our cities, just having a pleasant life without lots of congestion. Let me just see if I told you everything. Yes, a special welcome to you, of course, here, but we have lots of people at another venue in Paris, and I don't know if we can see them. Are we available to switch? Oh, they're there. Oh, look, there they are. Okay, let's just give a wave to each other. Hi there. Yay! And we'll be meeting up with each other later on. But for now, a special welcome to everyone looking at us here. So let's get started. Martin, can I ask you, Martin Pitchell, where are you? Martin, I'm going to switch on your microphone here. Hold on. Or you can have mine. It's fine. Let me just check if it works. Come on, yeah, come and join me. Yeah. Martin, could you introduce yourself, please, to everyone?
Hello. Good morning, Marinda, ladies and gentlemen. I am Martin Pichl, coming from the Czech Ministry of Transport, and because Czech Republic is holding presidency at the EU Council, I am a chairman at this time of the NAPCORE project.
Great. So we are here at the NAPCORE Mobility Data Days. So what are they?
So there are different, or could be different, views and answers on that. So, but in recent past, we had no opportunity to physically meet, and I think that to meet personally is an excellent opportunity to express visions, to exchange opinions, to clarify positions in order to formulate common proposals.
Great, great. And I mean, it's really nice to see each other, but why are they important otherwise? Why did you organize them?
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned, and all of us mentioned during the discussions, data, national access points, and what's important, legislation. And EU legislation is there. And if you look at the delegated regulation, you will not find instructions in detail how execute those legal obligations, how to meet the criteria, what
Get the microphone close. Yeah.
What concrete actions, specific actions to be executed and performed. And NAPCORE is a good not only opportunity, but the tool how to deliver the advice, the guidelines, the methodology on the commonly agreed principles and rules, how to achieve those obligations in the way that the services which are expected and defined in legislation will be provided not only technically harmonized, but on the same level of service and on the same quality for a final user.
So as NAPCORE Steering Committee Chair, what would you like to see during these days?
So discussions, interventions,
close, keep that, yeah.
Discussions, interventions, exchange of views. And I hope that people will tune on the same wavelength. The NAPCORE is not an ordinary project. NAPCORE is a knowledge base, which is important.
Great. Thank you for being here, for opening
Thank
us. Should we give him a round of applause? Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. You are here for talks and for with everyone later on, right? Yes. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. So this is a European project, and we are in this. I'll just put this down. We are in gorgeous Paris. May I introduce Marie-Christine Esposito, who really recently just joined us because you are filling in for someone else. Where would you like to stand? Would you like to have a handheld microphone, or would you like rather stand over there? What would? It's fine with. Okay, I'll give you this one. Marie-Christine, could you introduce yourself? What do you do at the ministry?
A lot. No, I'm stepping in for the general director, and she apologizes because she couldn't make it this morning. I myself, I'm the head of the Office of Road Information Systems, NCITS. So you probably, some of you know me from CITS, but you will see me tomorrow at the CITS session, by the way. Basically, I'm also organizing with Sylvain here. I think you can.
Yeah, Sylvain is doing the clicking as well.
Sylvain is doing all the hard work.
Yeah.
So we are also paying for it for this event. Hope you you are enjoying it. I hope you enjoyed last night, especially lots of French wine. Damaris especially. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
Damaris over there. She's awake. She's awake.
No, I'm kidding. No, hope you enjoy your stay in Paris. That you will enjoy, even if you couldn't go yesterday. You will enjoy the French cuisine and French wines, especially. And very nice to host you, and I still have some important stuff to say, though. Maybe not important, but at least more concrete to the topic at hand. Just I wanted to mention that in France we really support this project that is a very important one to harmonize the national access points. Those national access points are one of the tickets, I would say, for bringing mobility services across, harmonized mobility services across Europe, with the exchange of a lot of data between different stakeholders, so service providers, world authorities, member states, and so on. So we are really actively participating to the negotiations with the Commission to the ITS directive. That I would say the NAPCORE project is also. I would say like a handler of helping the different discussions. Hopefully, what we will produce within the NAPCORE project will help the Commission set this up properly with the revision of the directive that is hopefully gonna be achieved soon. We are also chairing one of the working groups in NAPCORE, Working Group 4, which is the working groups that enhanced the harmonization of standards, because this is one of the key points of making those services happen, is to make sure that interoperability between the standards is well, which standards for which service, for which type of data, for the different topics that NAPCORE will handle. So I think yesterday we talked about parking, cycling, RTTI, so the new word information, mostly delegated act, and the other ones that will come in support of the new directive, of course. And we're very happy to host you. I forgot to mention, of course, everything about multimodal data. Those also, we need to make sure that whatever happens also in the cities is really handled with interoperability elements to make sure that the services that are provided also are, I would say, as open as possible to make sure that the different service providers can provide the services. So I think welcome to France, and I think I will leave the floor to the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Right, we heard a hello from Martin, and we heard a hello from Marie-Christine. But it may be nice to say hello to the person that who you're sitting next to, maybe, because usually people sit next to someone they know, a friend, or and also that is also for the people in the other location. Why not say hello to the person behind you or in front of you? So I'll give you like 2-3 minutes, and you'll hear me suddenly saying, "Oh, stop, please, hello, hello," then stop. So just say hello to each other, say hi. And the other people in the other location, I see you. Say hi to each other. Sorry? Come on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you. I often do this with really large audiences as well. And it's always a good sign that it takes a while for everyone to come back. Because see this as a first hello, and for the rest of the couple of days, make sure you meet people, because it's not, I mean, we've had a couple of tough years, so make sure you make the most out of it these days. We have a video for you. I'm just going to look at the technical guys if they have it all set. And this is a video from Mr. Herald Ruiters. And Herald is a director at DG Move for investment, innovation and sustainable transport. So do we have the video? I see a nod. Just look behind me.
Good morning to all, and thank you very much for inviting the Commission to participate in these first NAPCORE Mobility Data Days. I would like to thank all the partners from the NAPCORE project, as well as the French host, for the organization of this important event in Paris. You have the opportunity to meet in person, to discuss and spread the news as well. NAPCORE is the place to be to discuss and agree on important ITS data topics in the European Union. Future-proof mobility is sustainable, smart, resilient and safe, and is more and more relying on the ubiquitous availability of high-quality, crucial data. This platform is the central point for the development of its ITS-related data in our sector, and their accessibility through national access points. It is an ambitious role, but one that is necessary to continue supporting high-quality mobility services and contribute to our long-standing policy goals: less emissions, less congestion, and improved multimodal travel experience and safer roads. With NAPCORE, we already see several communities grouping public and private stakeholders, for instance, for the development and implementation of standards and procedures, and working together for further harmonization and alignment of their efforts. This should continue to develop within NAPCORE. This cooperation is also needed at a more strategic level, with discussions that should address the vision: which data to support which types of ITS services, what are the objectives in terms of quality of data, in terms of needs from the service providers and users, which kind of cooperation should be developed, based on which priorities. We expect to see the advisory board of NAPCORE take a prominent role in these discussions. Of course, the legal framework of the ITS Directive provides already part of this vision. And in this context, we hope that soon also the European Parliament and the Council will agree on a revised directive that will further consolidate this vision, with hopefully ambitious targets for ITS data availability in the Union. But a lot is left to implementation and a lot is left to cooperation. And we also need this dialogue to identify the evolutions that could also support future changes in our legislation. We very much count on you for this. The national access points play also a key role for the European mobility data space, as they will take center stage in the provision of road but also multimodal travel-related data. The Commission has recently announced its intentions for the mobility data space, with a communication expected next year and supporting measures that are starting now. So the expectations are high, and I know the organizational challenge of managing such a huge project, but I also know that the ITS community is a vivid community with many result-oriented experts. I'm therefore wishing you fruitful discussions during these first NAPCORE Mobility Data Days. We'll be happy to engage further with you in the near future. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Gerald, for that. Yeah. We'll pass on the applause. Thank you. Timo, Mr. NAPCORE himself. There you go. Timo, could you introduce yourself a bit more than I just did?
Well, yeah, thanks. I think many people know me, Timo Hoffmann. I am General Secretary of NAPCORE. My employer, though, is the Federal Highway Research Institute in Germany. And we deal with national access points there, and so I'm very happy to be part of this NAPCORE project.
Yeah, good. So we're going to zoom in on the project right now. So where are we right now? What have you achieved?
Well, we've been on this road. We've started this together in the Netherlands for a long time ago already. But for this project, we've been now running for 1 year. The grant agreement was signed a year ago, for this huge project, it was stated before. It's just starting now to get everyone together, to organize ourselves. We have more than 80 organizations, more than 400 people in our contact list. It's quite a challenging job to keep it up to date. But we're at it. We're at working mode. We've achieved the first milestones. There are some slight delays, but I think it's all to expected. And but what's important for me is that we are visible with NAPCORE. We've been visible at the ITS Europe Congress in Toulouse. We are very glad to have all of you here, and also with the advisory board. I'm super happy to have all these distinguished organizations with their representatives here, or most of them. So that's a huge goal that we've already achieved now.
Great. And ask Martin the same question. What would you like to achieve during these days?
Well, as I said, the project has just started. We don't have that much to show and present to you. This is not the goal of this event. The goal is stakeholder interaction. We want to, of course, discuss amongst ourselves, but together with the community. And so this is why it's important that you get your voice heard, speak, get questions out, but also voice your opinions. And this is something that I really would want to see. And this whole interactivity only works if most of you participate. So I'm hoping for that.
Good. Event organizing isn't your primary job, right? So how is it to organize this? 200 people in Paris, you don't live here. How was it for you?
Well, thankfully, I was really only a small part of that, and Marie-Christine already said it. She made it possible, and Sylvain, who was the man for all the things logistically. So he worked 200% the last couple of months or weeks at least. So thanks a lot for this, but also for Jean-Philippe Michin, I believe, who was one of the main organizers in our sister event in Rue de Berry. So these are the ones I have to thank. But of course, NAPCORE also is not a one-man show, hardly at all. So it's really all about the people there, and we have a really dedicated team in the core alignment team, the activity leads, and I also have to thank all of them for their very hard work, also to set up the sessions, which many of the core alignment team members did, but also others. So all my thanks go out to all those.
Thank you. Timo, thank you for now. You'll be around, I suppose. So yeah, thanks. Our next part of this opening is other people who are also involved, of course, with NAPCORE, and that is a few advisory board members. So may I invite the advisory board members to join me, and I'll switch on the microphones. And as you can see, we have a couple of names here, and it is. I mean, you guys are really important, and that's why you're on a chair here. But you guys are important as well, and we're talking about interaction, talking to each other. So, my dear panelists, I invite you to talk amongst each other, but also if you feel, that maybe I'm wondering what other people are thinking about this. Maybe we could make statements, and I've prepared something. Just need to click through on the thingy here. So, this is a yes and a no. And if it's for you guys, it's going to be difficult because the yes, if you agree with something, and I'll cue it, so don't be afraid. You don't have to raise your hand. So if you agree, point that way. If you don't agree, point that way. But we'll get to that. Yeah, but for you, it's the other way around. But yeah, you can handle it. I'll just go back because I need to introduce you properly. Sylvain's gone. Can we go back? Which one? Yeah, I'm pushing, and yeah. Go on, red one. Yes, yeah, thank you. So I'll introduce you properly. So Suzanne Hoadley from Polis. Anything else I need to say? Sorry, yeah, I'll switch on the microphone.
No, I think maybe I can just add that I've been at Polis for a long time. I think I'm known to some people in the room, and looking forward to the discussion.
Great, thank you. And then Joost van Tome from Ertico.
Yeah, thank you. It's wonderful to be here. Bonjour, Paris. Great area, nice weather-ish. But thank you for being here. My name is Van Tome with 2 M's, not 2 O's, and I'm the CEO of Ertico ITS Europe. Happy to be here.
Thank you very much, Joost. And Joost and Steve already came to me and told me we don't agree often, so that's going to be very interesting.
No, we didn't say that, did we?
Yes. Steve, could you introduce yourself whilst Suzanne, could you pass the microphone to Steve, because I'm going to try this.
Okay, well, Yeah, while you're playing with the mic, so Steve Phillips, Conference European Directors of Roads. It is great to be back. I think some of you know, when I started at CEDA, my office was in the Grand Arch, so it was temporarily, old stomping turf for me. So it was good, but it's been very well organised, and I really, take my hat off to the French organisers. The Train Bleu last night was great.
Great.
It really was good, and it was good to see all of you as well.
Great. This one works as well. Yes.
Yes. No.
And last but not least, Kevin, could you introduce yourself as well, please?
Good morning, everyone. I think reflect the panel. A pleasure to be here. A pleasure to be in a room having these conversations because our topic isn't just digital. Our interactions in the last 2 or 3 years have been digital, and looking forward to as many conversations in coffee breaks and side chats as we do here on the panel. I'll save any more detail for when we answer the questions.
Great, thank you. So you are in the steering committee. What priorities do you see if we're talking about the mobility domain in relation to NAPCORE? So what priorities do you see? And who would like to go first? Steve has a microphone. I'll put you on the spot, Steve.
Okay, thank you very much. I kind of feel this is a bit of a loaded question because again, it's talking about mobility data space, which I think is again this extension of what many of us have thought about in terms of the NAPs, and without jumping into some of the earlier questions, I think again as CEDA and many of the road authorities, and I stress the road authorities are very much engaged in this transition to becoming digital road operators. So the NAPs, in many respects, or the core, I think for many of them, the idea of what the NAPs were was an extension of the basic services they provide every day. It's just making it digital. But where I think we really, really want to stress is the bringing together the different streams. So people have heard, I keep stressing the connection with the infrastructure, the digital twin, and those aspects. So that's where, if you like, we want to prioritize. Maybe it's a bit selfish. I admit, that's focusing on, what is the core role of a national road authority, and if you like, helping to define what the future role will be as well.
So it's getting bigger and bigger, I hear. Yeah. What about, should we just do the yes and no immediately? So who would agree to this broadening role of national road authorities? Is that correct? So I'm just going to click through to the yes and no. So who says yes and who says no? So the role is getting bigger and bigger. And everyone, okay, I see lots of points to yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining in. Really good. So who says, I don't agree? That's fine as well. Who says I don't agree?
Come on, someone.
Okay, is this surprising? I mean, getting bigger and bigger. Who would say no to this? Who would say, oh, this isn't the road you should take?
Well, I guess, and I was deliberately looking at Gary, but I think a lot of others. I think there is a discussion. Again, when we talk about the role of a national road authority, the role of a national road authority is defined by the ministry, and there are very clear differences between what different ministries want us to achieve. And I would say that also goes back to this discussion about mobility data space. At what point does the road authority, if you like, go out of scope and is pushed back into the box and saying, no, you stay there because that's someone else's role?
Yeah. Would you like to comment on that? I heard you nodding. I saw you nodding. Sorry.
No. Now, you asked me what are the priorities. We at Ertico, we have at least 6 mobility data spaces that we host and that we manage. All are different. All are different in terms of size, partners, public-private always, but in terms of data sharing things. I think 3 priorities for me, at least, what I see in the mobility and the data economy in general from Europe. First is taxonomy. It's not about taxonomy regulation, but taxonomy on what are we talking about. And what Steve said is very right. The fact that we gather in Timo, the fact that we gather all these people here from different areas, vertical regulatory things, horizontal regulatory, industry voluntary data sharing, is great. I mean, we haven't done that in the past. We have it a bit in the CCAM partnership, but this is really for the data focus. So taxonomy means what are we talking about? And are we clear in the vocabulary on what we do? The second thing is about the roles of each of the actors. What is the role of the private industry? What is the role of the OEMs? I don't see them, by the way, here. The vehicle manufacturers. What is the roles of the role of the service providers? What is the role of public authorities, being either local authorities like Susanne's group, or Steve's group, or even the ministries? That should be made clear, at least from the outset, so that we have a good, at least, mindset of that. And what's the role of the NAPs? Yeah? And that should be also clear. Yesterday we got a discussion. Is it up to the NAP to define the quality of data and the service level and the compliance assessment? Or is it the vertical data stream provider? So it's the original data source provider that has to do a compliance assessment, like a bit type approval. In the US, you do a self-assessment and you say, well, this is okay for me. So these are the questions that probably one of the working groups will tackle.
Interesting, interesting. And on a different level from Polis, what were your priorities from your point of view?
Okay. Well, I think for the majority of Polis members, and I think municipalities around Europe, especially with the smaller ones, probably many of them have not heard of NAPCORE and are not familiar with the NAPs. I think perhaps that has changed in the last couple of years, but I think there is this bridge to be gapped between really the local level and national and the European level and the legislation that's coming out. Of course, the digital transition is happening already in local government. It's been happening for a long time, and I think the ITS directive and the suite of delegated regulations that have followed are accelerating that. But what we see is that there is really a need to work on developing and improving the capability of municipalities to really work with data, so looking at how they acquire that data, whether they generate it themselves, they buy it, manage it, process it, standardize it, share it with others. And so this is a discussion that's certainly ongoing. I don't think this is being addressed within NAPCORE for obvious reasons, but it's certainly something within Polis that we are working on.
Do these local authorities, do they see the urgency and importance of what you just mentioned about working together?
Yeah, of course, working together is amongst local authorities, you mean, or the NAPs, or the...
Yeah, because I'm thinking of, a local authority. Think, okay, we get some data from cycle data or, whatever traffic data, whatever. And they just have to look in their own borders. So do they feel the urgency to really work together? Because you can work on a national level, but it's about the micro.
Yeah, I mean, they're concerned with managing transport within their jurisdiction, but we know that trips don't stop at the border of their area. So of course, they work with their neighboring local authorities. And I think in some countries, they're quite advanced on really working together more at a regional level. Just to name one, the Netherlands, they have set up these regional data teams in which they're really trying to get the municipalities within a given region to work together. And really, because we see that the bigger cities are more advanced in this area, they have more resources, they have probably better skilled people. They know how, they understand, they can work with standards, they can work with different tools. Not the same for the smaller municipalities. So my understanding from what's happening in the Netherlands is that there is this solidarity that's being created where the bigger municipalities actually support the smaller municipalities. So I think this is certainly an approach that we should be monitoring and learning from.
Interesting. I'm just looking at the audience because I do see someone from the Netherlands that I know, Ronald. Would you like to, do you know about what Suzanne's talking about? Could you react?
Well, honestly speaking, I don't know.
Okay.
Probably it is.
Yeah.
I'm just having in mind.
Okay, I'll just run over because I know that the people from the other side can't hear you. I'll just run over with a microphone. Hold on. I'm not going to run on the stairs because I'll trip. That would be funny. Okay, Ronald, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I saw you.
No problem. Go ahead. No, but if I look at my own small town, it's a 7,000 people town. I think they have only one employee working on traffic, and data is absolutely not his priority, I'm for sure. So there, I think it makes very much sense to cooperate with the province of Overijssel, which is we are part of the province of Overijssel. Always the bigger cities like Zwolle or Deventer, which are in the neighborhood, to pick this up. Because they, on their own, they cannot do it. So they have to work together with other parties.
Great, great, thank you. Okay, just gonna go down here again. Anyone else like to talk? No, okay. So, and from your point of view, what would priorities be for NAPCORE from your point of view?
You're going to be very surprised what somebody from an organisation called Cycling Industries Europe might be interested in. But, you know, let's be clear, being on an advisory board, we're here to help, not necessarily lobby. You know, there is a constructive wave moving through Europe, moving through those cities, moving through those small cities, where there is more call for active mobility. There's more call for multimodality, where you can chain journeys. Cyclists are twice as likely as other citizens to have a season ticket for public transport. So there's a kind of whole need to join this up and to make it possible. The second reason I'm here is also I do represent a business community. OEMs are here.
Yes, that was what I was thinking. Yes,
but we're making bikes, and many of those bike companies are owned by car companies now as well. So we're here, but actually many of our members, especially in spaces like BikeShare and MAS and ITS, are very, very small companies. They're quite isolated. They're as isolated as those small towns. And so again, NAPCORE represents a whole kind of wow layer, which is intellectually inaccessible, potentially financially inaccessible, unless we give those companies a voice and to a degree a say, just as much as we do the multinationals and the globals. So I think hopefully I can have a second voice in the piece, which is the voice of the kind of SME community and some of the really interesting innovators. And if you take one of our members like TIER, you know, TIER is a European startup that's now a European unicorn. So in this micro-mobility, bicycle, active mobility space, you know, let's look after the small guys, because some of them will also be globally important success stories in the future, but they need to play in this space.
Great. Are there any SMEs here in the audience, or in? We can't hear them on the other side. No, I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. So you were talking. Yeah, it's quite a big leap for small and medium enterprises to join this. You know, this European Commission NAPCORE thing. But where would you see chances or opportunities for them?
Well, I think a lot of the work on standardization, for example, is an enabler. And, you know, that requires resources and collaboration, and NAPCORE is a collaboration platform, because that should ultimately improve access, improve interoperability, improve commercialization. And, you know, simply on BikeShare, you know, we have got now a kind of global standard for sharing data and operating data. We don't have it on mapping, routing, parking, many other counting, but we know it can be done, and the companies that are part of that are now going, well, this is amazing. I just know what I have to do. And the cost of implementation has gone down for public bodies, very importantly, for Suzanne's community, and for the commercial side. So, I mean, there's a kind of win-win here. The cornerstone of perhaps our ask, and I think SMEs in general, is don't keep reinventing the wheel, city to city, country to country, platform to platform, mobility to mobility, because in that way we can play.
So that's one community. What other communities are there, and what opportunities, chances do you see for them? Steve, could you add to that?
Yeah, well, I think I can you know, echo. Yes, I can echo what I mean. Again, you know, within the NAPCORE, and certainly within the wider community, this is a really, really important platform in which to engage with and find out what are the needs of the users and the other stakeholders. So, you know, I take the occasion, you know, we have members who have more kilometres of cycleway than they do of motorway. So, you know, we have engaged with the cycling community. I think the other side of it, and I don't know whether there's anyone left in the audience, but the logistics side, and I haven't heard much about the logistics over the last couple of days. So I think, to span that broad spectrum and to understand, who are the key stakeholders in the sector, the users, all of those who depend on basically on the basic infrastructure, but on the services we provide is absolutely essential. And we are, committed to finding out on that. And if I may, just to demonstrate how committed we are, a little plug for the CEDA research program. We've already mentioned it. We've launched our call. We will have a call on data, sharing digital road information, a lot of the stuff we've talked about, improving access and use of third-party data, and integrity, authenticity, and I hate this word, non-repudiation.
What does that mean?
Explain. Yeah, it's about validity and things like that, trust and lots of other things.
Okay.
So there's an information day on the 8th, but the registration is tomorrow. So anyone who wants to register, please let me know very, very urgently. But I raise that because, as I say, this is not just me turning up here and saying, we think it's important to do this. We have 8 road administrations who are committed and have put money into this program and want to pay the sector, the community, to answer these problems. And we're bringing that to NAPCORE and to this sector. We want to start this discussion.
Yeah, nice. And I'll just go along. Suzanne, what opportunities do you see for maybe other sectors?
Well, I think, as Steve said, I see sort of NAPCORE really as being this space for collaboration, a sort of support group, if you like, for the implementation of the delegated regulations. And I mean, for me, it's going to be important to try and involve police members and municipalities generally, because cities come up time and time again in all the discussions, in all the sessions that we've had over the last few days, in previous NAPCORE advisory board meeting that I attended. It was cities. So I think it's really important that we try to bring them in, and there I hope that we can count on the national access point and the ministries to engage with the cities in their country, because we do as much as we can as police with the limited resources that we have. In fact, we have a meeting going on right now in parallel, a police traffic efficiency working group meeting going on the 17th floor, where we are talking about the revised RTTI delegated regulation and some new provisions that have been introduced to really understand what it means for them, what are their views on it, which use cases could be of interest to them. So I think there are a lot of communities here already involved, but I think we need to pay particular attention to the municipalities and really try and make sure their voice is heard in this forum, and it's not just me and my colleague Laura. We are not just the face of police, and cities.
Shall we ask the audience whether they... I mean, I think everyone would like to support that, but are they able to support that? Do they have the contacts with the smaller... There's this kind of message about how to hold the microphone.
Okay.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup, monsieur. So who would be able to reach that audience of the smaller municipalities? If you say yes or no, just let me know. Who would be able to reach the smaller municipalities? Yeah, one gentleman over there. Yeah. Oh, sorry, no, sorry, that's no. Duh, it's on the screen here. I need to watch this.
Can I just come in? I think it would be interesting to know which of the NAPs and the ministries here, representatives here present in the room, do you engage with city authorities, large or small, municipalities in your city, in your country, about about NAPCORE, about the delegated regulations that affect them? I think that's the bigger question, because that's not the impression I've had over the years when I've engaged with police members, and also when I've spoken with representatives of ministries. And
okay, good. It's a good question. So, as a NAP, are you engaged with smaller municipalities? That's a question.
Any municipality.
Any municipality.
Big or
okay.
small.
Okay, and you, yeah. Okay. Okay, Suzanne, what do you see?
Okay, that's okay. It's encouraging, surprising, but encouraging. So
yeah,
I'm making a mental note of your faces and coming to check with you afterwards to see which municipalities you're engaging with.
Suzanne will find you. Thank you. Steve, you had something to add to that?
Well, I guess it's just, I mean, it was on one of the slides yesterday where we talked about the entire road network. And if that is the core of what we're trying to do, then quite frankly, I find some of the discussions about municipalities or non-municipalities, to me, it's a bit abstract. You know, we are trying to build, we talk about, you know, a sustainable road system. And I think it goes back to what I talked about the roles earlier. You know, I think there is still some ambiguity, and I'll use that word carefully, sometimes between the roles of the larger municipalities and the road authorities. In some countries, I think the cooperation is great. I mean, I think Suzanne actually, when she talked about some of the good examples, that's probably where we see the road administrations and the ministries actually helping and working with the municipalities and creating something. You know, I hear of Norway is another good example. So, you know, there are those examples there, and there are others where people are sticking within their boxes and not looking over the fence. Okay. And I do think, you know, if we are serious about, you know, working on a sustainable European road system, we have to bring everyone on board.
Yeah. So what thresholds do you see? May I ask you, what thresholds do you see? Because we had chances, opportunities. What's difficult?
Well, I have the pleasure to lead an organization which is really public-private. So it's 8 sectors that we bring together to really have a dialogue and make it happen, make deployment happen. It's not a talk shop, it's about deployment of ITS. And data is one big thing. We did an interrogation of cities, as you know, with the city moonshot, and that report is available. It's 300 cities that we have questioned around the world, not only Europe. One of the main factors was the sustainability agenda and the data agenda. That came clearly out of it. With cities, and smaller or bigger ones, that have staff for that, and others have no staff for that, yeah? Which is a big issue. It's all about people. I see the ITS discussions also in the council. It's about staffing your ministries to do it and to have the quality of service things, yeah? So for me, with the 8 sectors, give you one example, we did a deep dive with the 8 sectors on this session on NAPCORE, what we believe NAPCORE should deliver. And the 8 sectors are, give you some examples, the traffic and transport industry. These are the providers of the signaling systems, of the road suppliers, of the intelligent traffic lights, the lane markings and so on. Much important for digital twins, very important for automated driving and so on. Totally different industry is the connectivity industry. We now have Microsoft and Google Cloud joining us. They're totally different than this transport industry, but actually they also talk about these data sharing things, yeah? Next to that, then we have the traditional, I would say, the road authorities, the road suppliers. We have various MOUs that we sign, and I always hear this data discussion. But what I do not hear is how to orchestrate this and how to organize this. Okay. And it's like the second call that is now in Digital Europe, how to organize the mobility data space. It's quite a question. This NAP structure from the ITS Directive and the Delegated Acts is a decentralized thing. It's federated, that should be federated, but decentralized, so quite difficult. And it's distributed intelligence. And it's the beauty of this and the chance, the unique chance we have, and which is not present in the US, by the way, is that we have the unique data source. So the original data source can be a company, can be an UVA from a city, can be, and this data source is findable through the NAP, not on the NAP, but through the NAP, yeah? And this is unique. I was in a panel with AASHTO, the US Corporation of the DOTs. They don't have that. They don't have this data discussion, unfortunately, but we should be proud to have it and capitalize on it, yeah.
Great. We can talk all afternoon, but we're not. So we talked a little bit about priorities that you feel are important. We talked about opportunities. We scratched a few thresholds. See this also again as a kind of start of a discussion that you could continue during the breaks, in other sessions, during the drinks and bites we can have this afternoon, this evening. So thank you very much for this for now, and we'll see you later. Can we have an applause? Thank you very much. Thank you. feel free to stay put because I'm just going to go through some really practical things. But first of all, we're investing lots of time and energy being here. And I would like you just to take a minute to think, what would I like to achieve in these 2 days? So what would I like to see get done? Because I asked Timo and I asked you as well. What would you like to see the coming days? So take a minute to think about that for yourself. And then take a minute to share that with your neighbor. Because this is nasty of me. So take a minute to share that with your neighbor, and I'll be back in 1 minute. Go ahead.
That's good. That's good. We did a round of introduction before you arrived.
Okay.
So please introduce.
We were in La Défense for the International Mobility Data Space discussion. So I'm Fabrizio Politi from Autostrade per l'Italia, and I'm in the TCC application development
Can we turn that
since
off?
many years. I joined
That
the
isn't
Data
us.
for community since 2003, and I attend and
That's not us.
support the
Okay.
evolution of the DATEX2
I'll ask them to turn that off
standards,
because they...
within this last year.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was interesting. Can I have your attention, please? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ja. Goedemiddag. Mag ik je aandacht? This is... Hallo? This is such a good sign. Me not able to get your attention, that's really good. I need just 1 more minute, 2 minutes, and then I'm done. Right. So you've set your intention for these 2 days, and now I'm going to get to, okay, just things I need to say. Where to find the program? You can find the program on the registration website, on the leaflets, the little blue and yellow leaflets, or you can use your QR photo thingy on your phone and go through to get it online. Yo, next. We have different rooms in La Défense. We are in the Tour Sequoia. We are now in the amphitheater. I'll let you read this because you're not stupid. You can read it yourself. So, can I click through? Everyone okay? And Sylvain has something to say about the rooms as well. Do you want to do that now, Sylvain? Yeah. Is the mic on? Yes.
I think so. Yeah, just one...
Perhaps you can move in front because people get really bad necks.
That will be very short. So, just to say that the session that is in the Grand Arche, in the amphitheater on RTTI this afternoon, will be indeed here in this building, room 32A. So there's no need to move to the Grand Arche. You may stay inside the building, and it's in room 32A here.
Okay.
32 means 30 seconds.
Is best room in the building? 32A? Oh my goodness, you're going to have a rush over there. Okay, thank you, Sylvain, for that. So you don't need to, so we're not going to the Grand Arche? No.
No.
No. Okay, thank you. Then, the breaks are outside. Lunch is straight after all plenary sessions, and coffee is at 8:30 and at 3:15. The joint event, because I mean we've been waving to the others. Please join us this evening at 6, where we have our at the Rue de Berry, and we have snacks and drinks. And this is about reusing NAP data. So just join us. I'm going to be there. It'll be really nice. Not just because I'm there, but because you are there. Right. Then, afterwards, we have technical visits. So just read this and make sure you're on time at the meeting point if you want to join. And there's a few seats left, it says. Register at the welcome desk. Yep, that must have been really nice to visit. I'll just go through. If you're lost, if you have any questions, you can ask the receptionists at the desks, and they speak really good English. So that's good for me. Je parle un petit peu français, mais ça va bien en anglais. And if you leave the building, please make sure you keep your badge with you. Otherwise, you can't get in. My last message to you is, please enjoy yourself these days, and let's have fun and learn a lot, speak a lot. See you later. See you tomorrow.